The war arrived in Dubna, a place previously untouched by the direct conflict. A quiet city near Moscow, once considered a safe haven, now found itself on the front lines of a new kind of battle. It didn't arrive with tanks rolling through the streets, but with the sudden, violent collapse of steel and concrete. Deep inside Russia, far from the borders where fighting had been concentrated, a Ukrainian drone executed a daring strike on the Kronstadt plant. This was Russia's primary hub, the very heart of its advanced drone development program. In mere seconds, a precision strike, carefully planned and executed, brought down a key production workshop, crippling operations. It sent a clear and unmistakable message: nowhere within Russia's borders is truly safe from this conflict. This attack marked a dramatic escalation in the ongoing war. Ukraine was now directly targeting the factories and industrial complexes that fuel Russia's war effort. The strike shattered the illusion, carefully cultivated by the Kremlin, that the war was a distant concern, exposing the deep vulnerability of Russia's supposedly impenetrable military-industrial complex. For ordinary Russians going about their daily lives, the sight of the burning plant so close to Moscow suddenly made the distant conflict very real, very personal. Ukraine demonstrated in a very public and impactful way that it could project power deep into Russian territory, directly challenging the Kremlin's carefully constructed narrative of invincibility and control. The Dubna attack was not an isolated incident, but just the beginning, a clear signal to Russia that dozens, perhaps hundreds of other critical facilities could be next in line. This new phase of the war isn't primarily about territorial gains, but about systematically dismantling Russia's fundamental ability to continue waging war. By directly hitting the factories and production centers, Ukraine aims to strategically starve the Russian army of essential resources, including drones, desperately needed missiles, and devastating bombs. The image of the collapsed roof at the Kronstadt plant quickly became a potent symbol, a stark reminder that the very foundations of Putin's war effort are beginning to crumble under pressure. Ukraine's message to the world, and more importantly to Russia itself, is now undeniably clear. Russia's war machine, once perceived as an unstoppable force, is no longer untouchable, and its vulnerabilities are now exposed for all to see. Ukraine's campaign is precise and methodical, targeting the critical nodes of Russia's military production. The goal: create cascading failures across the supply chain, from design to assembly. By striking key facilities, Ukraine is choking off the flow of armaments to the front. Russia produces thousands of combat drones monthly, but Ukraine is relentlessly targeting the factories behind this surge. The strikes hit not just assembly lines but also plants making fiber optics, batteries, and microelectronics. The aim is to disrupt the intricate web of suppliers that sustains Russia's drone advantage. Ukrainian forces are also targeting munitions plants, setting off chain reactions that threaten Russia's summer offensive. An army without ammunition cannot fight. By hitting shell and bomb factories, Ukraine directly degrades Moscow's battlefield power. Each strike creates bottlenecks, forcing Russia to divert resources from the front to defend its industrial base. Ukraine is proving that modern war is won as much in factories as on the battlefield. Ukraine's target list reads like a comprehensive directory, meticulously outlining Russia's top defense enterprises and key industrial hubs. These are the facilities that fuel the Russian war machine. Take for instance the Yelabuga drone factory nestled in Tatarstan. This crucial site sits over 1,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, deep within Russian territory, yet it was struck in a bold and daring long-range attack, showcasing Ukraine's evolving capabilities. This plant is responsible for producing Russia's version of the Shahed drone, a locally manufactured variant. This is a weapon that has relentlessly terrorized Ukrainian skies, causing significant damage and loss of life. Ukraine's strategic campaign hits every critical link in the complex drone production chain, targeting each stage of the manufacturing process. From initial design to the manufacturing of sensitive electronics, the production of high-powered batteries, and the final crucial stage of assembly. The Basalt complex, located in Moscow itself, is the primary manufacturer of the devastating Fab glide bombs, a weapon causing immense destruction. It too was targeted in a precision strike, significantly disrupting Russia's supply and production of these most destructive munitions. These strikes are spread far and wide across Russia, forcing its military to stretch its already strained air defenses even thinner, leaving vulnerabilities. Every factory and every depot is now a potential and active front in this escalating industrial war. Ukraine's overarching strategy is relentless: to keep the pressure on, and never allow Russia's war machine the space to recover and rearm. Each successful strike is not just a tactical win, but a significant strategic victory, proving that innovation, precision, and agility can effectively cripple a larger, seemingly insurmountable adversary. The Kremlin's massive investments in military might and industrial capacity are being systematically undone by targeted Ukrainian ingenuity and precision strikes. The underlying message is clear: Russia's industrial heartland is vulnerable, and Ukraine has the capability and resolve to reach it, no matter the distance. Modern weapons, the kind that define today's battlefields, rely heavily on advanced electronics. Missiles need sophisticated guidance systems to hit their targets with precision. Drones need reliable communication links to relay vital information and maintain control, and air defenses need powerful processors to quickly analyze threats and coordinate responses. Recognizing this critical dependency, Ukraine has expanded its campaign to target Russia's high-tech sector directly, striking microchip and radio electronics factories, the very heart of Russia's military technology supply chain. A recent fire at the Avangard plant in St. Petersburg, a significant blow, revealed the vulnerability of a key producer of microchips essential for missile production. These attacks have revealed the true impact and strategic importance of these facilities. The Kremny L plant in Bryansk, a critical node, is vital for the production of components used in air defense and missile systems. It has been significantly crippled by repeated and targeted strikes. Similarly, the Strela plant in Suzemka, which was responsible for manufacturing chips used in the Tor air defense system, has been completely destroyed, a devastating blow to Russia's defense capabilities. Rebuilding such highly specialized facilities is a slow and incredibly costly process, creating significant and long-term setbacks for Russia's military modernization efforts. While Russia is actively trying to bypass international sanctions through gray market imports and other means, it still heavily depends on domestic production for a wide range of critical military-grade components. Ukraine's targeted strikes are significantly deepening Russia's technological vulnerabilities, forcing the country to resort to using less sophisticated and often outdated alternatives. The inevitable result is degraded weapon quality, impacting performance and reliability. Ultimately, this leads to a shrinking technological edge and increasing military weakness for Russia. Ukraine is strategically turning Russia's once formidable high-tech advantage into a significant liability. A modern army runs on fuel, and Ukraine knows it. Since early 2025, Ukrainian drones have targeted Russian oil refineries and depots, aiming to cripple both military mobility and the Kremlin's revenue. Around 1/10 of Russia's refining capacity has been knocked out, with at least 8 major refineries damaged. These strikes have caused fuel shortages, driven up prices, and forced Moscow to impose export bans. The campaign is widespread, hitting key processing units that are hard to repair under sanctions. Ukraine is imposing economic pain and logistical chaos, threatening Russia's ability to sustain its war. This is asymmetric warfare at its most effective, targeting the lifeblood of Russia's war machine. Ukraine's strikes are triggering a slow-motion crisis in Russia's manufacturing sector. Each attack disrupts supply chains, causing production to stall or stop. Damaged microchip plants mean no components for missiles. Bombed munitions factories mean empty shells. Russia's industrial strength has become a vulnerability, expertly exploited by Ukraine. Economic data shows the impact. Manufacturing is in its steepest downturn in years, and industrial growth has nearly stalled. Many factories are already strained, operating at just 81% capacity, leaving little room to absorb shocks. When a key plant is hit, there are few backups, leading to persistent shortages and bottlenecks. The Kremlin is forced to spend vast sums on repairs and defenses, draining resources from weapons production. The constant threat of attack creates uncertainty, slowing investment and planning. Ukraine isn't just breaking factories, it's breaking the economic model behind Putin's war. While Putin claims resilience, his own officials are sounding the alarm. At the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, Economy Minister Maxim Reshetnikov warned Russia was on the brink of recession, a rare public admission. Central Bank Governor Elvira Nabiullina echoed these concerns, noting that the resources fueling wartime growth are exhausted. Russia is running out of workers, money, and factory capacity, worsened by relentless Ukrainian strikes. Despite record military spending, GDP growth has slowed and inflation remains near 10%, eroding living standards. The central bank has hiked interest rates to 20%, stifling investment and growth. The economy is trapped in stagflation, slowing growth and high inflation. Official warnings and grim statistics reveal deep cracks in Russia's economic stability. Even Kremlin-linked analysts warn of a countdown to crisis and a looming recession. The storm clouds are gathering, even if Putin won't admit it. Ukraine's campaign against Russia's industrial heartland has transformed the war into a contest of endurance. By degrading Russia's ability to produce weapons and fuel, Ukraine is shifting the strategic balance. The consequences are clear. Fewer precision missiles, drone shortages, and fuel bottlenecks are hampering Russia's military. Russian commanders must ration ammunition and rely on less effective munitions. This levels the playing field, allowing Ukraine to counter Russia's brute force. Beyond the battlefield, the strikes are eroding the social contract Putin offered: stability in exchange for acquiescence. High inflation, shortages, and the war's proximity are shaking public confidence. As economic pain grows, sustaining support for the war becomes harder for the Kremlin. Ukraine's strikes have forced Russia into a dual crisis: a grinding war and a looming recession. The fires in Russia's factories are more than destruction. They're a warning that the limits of Putin's war machine are being reached.